I never expected my career choice would tear my family apart, but looking back, it was just the trigger that exposed what had been brewing beneath the surface for years. Teaching wasn't just a job for me, it was my calling. After graduating top of my class from Stanford, I shocked everyone by turning down lucrative tech offers to teach at Lincoln Public High School. My brother James supported me initially, but everything changed when he married Victoria 3 years ago. Victoria came from old money and never let anyone forget it. She worked as a marketing executive at Reynolds Technologies, one of the biggest tech companies in Silicon Valley. From day one, she made it clear she thought I was wasting my potential. Stanford degree and you're just teaching, she'd say, wrinkling her perfectly powdered nose. Such a waste, Sarah. You could be making 6 figures by now. I usually brushed off her comments, focusing instead on my students who needed me. Lincoln High served a struggling community, but my AP Physics students had a 98% pass rate last year. That mattered more to me than any salary. Then came the dinner party that changed everything. James and Victoria were hosting a gathering for her work colleagues at their newly renovated mansion in Pacific Heights. I almost didn't go, but James insisted. Please, Sarah, Victoria's boss will be there. It's important to her. I should have trusted my instincts. The evening started awkwardly enough. Victoria had seated me at the far end of the table, away from the important guests. I recognized several tech executives from the news, all dressed impeccably, discussing stock options and vacation homes. Sarah, darling, Victoria's voice carried across the table, dripping with false sweetness. Do tell everyone what you do. I'm sure they find it interesting. I straightened in my chair. I teach AP Physics at Lincoln High School. The silence was deafening. Victoria's laugh broke it like shattering glass. Can you believe it? Stanford graduate, could have been anything, and she chose to babysit teenagers in the worst school district in the city. Several guests tittered nervously. James stared at his plate, saying nothing. Teachers are just failed professionals, Victoria continued, warming to her audience. No offense, Sarah, but those who can do. Those who can't, well, you know the rest. My hands trembled under the table, but I kept my voice steady. My students. Oh, your precious students, Victoria interrupted. Face it, Sarah, you're wasting your life playing hero to kids who'll probably drop out anyway. When was the last time you made any real difference? That's when a deep voice from the doorway cut through the room like thunder. Miss Anderson. Everyone turned. A tall man in an expensive suit stood there, his presence commanding immediate attention. I recognized him instantly. Michael Reynolds, CEO of Reynolds Technologies, Victoria's boss. Mr. Reynolds, Victoria jumped up, fawning. We weren't expecting you so early. But he wasn't looking at her. His eyes were fixed on me, and to everyone's shock, they were filling with tears. Miss Anderson, he said again, his voice thick with emotion. You probably don't remember me, but my son Alex was in your class last year. The room went deadly quiet. Victoria's face turned an interesting shade of white. Alex Reynolds, I said softly, remembering the quiet boy who'd sat in the back of my class. He worked so hard. He was failing every class before he met you. Mr. Reynolds continued, walking toward me. The divorce hit him hard. Other teachers had given up on him. But you, he paused, composing himself. You stayed after school with him every day for months. You believed in him when no one else did. I felt tears prickling my own eyes. Alex was brilliant. He just needed someone to see it. He's at MIT now, Mr. Reynolds said proudly, on a full scholarship. He calls it the Miss Anderson Scholarship because he says he never would have made it without you. The silence in the room was absolute. I could hear Victoria's nervous breathing. When he told me his physics teacher's name, I couldn't believe it. Mr. Reynolds continued. I've been trying to track you down to thank you. I never expected to find you here. He turned to address the entire table. This woman isn't just a teacher. She's a miracle worker. She takes kids who've lost hope and shows them their own potential. She could have chosen an easier path, made more money, but she chose to make a difference instead. Victoria looked like she might faint. James was staring at me with a mixture of pride and shame. Miss Anderson, Mr. Reynolds said formally, I have a proposition for you, but perhaps we should discuss it somewhere more supportive. I stood up, my legs surprisingly steady. For the first time all evening, I felt truly seen. I think that's an excellent idea, Mr. Reynolds. As we walked toward the door, I heard Victoria's strangled whisper to James. "Did you know? Why didn't you tell me?" But I didn't stop to hear his response. Something told me this was just the beginning of a much bigger story. The next morning, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing with messages from James and Victoria. I ignored them all. Instead, I focused on the business card Mr. Reynolds had given me the night before. 9 a.m., Reynolds Technologies headquarters. As I stepped into the gleaming office building, wearing my best blazer, which probably cost less than Victoria's lipstick, I couldn't stop thinking about our conversation from last night. After leaving the disastrous dinner party, Mr. Reynolds had taken me to a quiet cafe nearby. "Miss Anderson," he'd said, "what you did for Alex, that kind of dedication is rare. We need more of that in education." Now his assistant led me to a conference room where I found not just Mr. Reynolds, but an entire board of directors. "Sarah," Mr. Reynolds smiled warmly, "thank you for coming. We have something important to discuss." But before he could continue, the door burst open. Victoria stood there, looking perfectly polished despite her obvious agitation. "Michael, I can explain everything about last night." She stopped short seeing me there. "What is she doing here?" Mr. Reynolds' smile turned cold. "Mrs. Thompson, this is a private meeting, and you're interrupting the discussion about our new $50 million education initiative." Victoria's perfectly plucked eyebrows shot up. "Education initiative." "Yes," Mr. Reynolds continued. "We're launching a comprehensive program to transform struggling schools across the city, and we want Sarah to lead it." I sat there stunned as he laid out the details. Reynolds Technologies was creating a foundation to provide resources, technology, and support to public schools. They wanted me to be the executive director. "The salary is $250,000 annually," he added casually, "plus full benefits and a significant budget for program implementation." Victoria made a choking sound. "But," I hesitated, "I'm just a teacher." "No," Mr. Reynolds said firmly, "you're an educator who understands what these kids really need. You're exactly who we need." Victoria's face had turned an alarming shade of red. "But she's not qualified. I've been working here for 5 years. If anyone should lead a new initiative." "Speaking of your work here," Mr. Reynolds interrupted, opening a folder, "we should discuss some irregularities in your department's expense reports." Victoria went pale. "It seems," he continued, "you've been charging personal expenses as business costs. Quite substantial amounts, actually." "I can explain," Victoria stammered. "I'm sure you can," Mr. Reynolds said coldly. To the audit team, "Please clear out your desk by end of day." Victoria turned to me, her designer mask finally cracking. "You planned this," she shrieked. "You're trying to ruin me." "Mrs. Thompson," Mr. Reynolds' voice was steel, "security will escort you out." As Victoria was led away, still shouting accusations, Mr. Reynolds turned back to me. "I apologize for that interruption. Now about the position." I held up my hand. "Before I accept, I need to know something. Did you really fire her because of me?" He shook his head. "We've been investigating her for months. Your brother's wife has been embezzling company funds to maintain her lavish lifestyle. Last night's dinner party, charged to the company, her designer wardrobe, company cards. She's been stealing for years." I thought about all the times Victoria had mocked my modest teacher's salary, all while stealing to fund her own lifestyle. "There's more," Mr. Reynolds continued. "Your brother should know that Victoria has been using company resources to fund a secret apartment where she meets her personal trainer." My heart sank for James. First the embezzlement, now infidelity. My phone buzzed again. Another message from James. "Sarah, please. Victoria says you got her fired. What's going on?" I looked at Mr. Reynolds. "I need time to think about the offer, and I need to talk to my brother." He nodded understandingly. "Of course, but Sarah, whatever you decide about the position, Victoria's actions have caught up with her. That's not on you." As I left the building, I saw Victoria being escorted out, carrying a box of her belongings. Our eyes met briefly. The hatred in hers was scalding. My phone buzzed once more. This time it was a text from Victoria. "You've ruined everything. I'll make you pay for this." I took a deep breath and called James. It was time for some hard truths, but something told me this story wasn't over yet. Victoria wasn't the type to go down without a fight. I didn't expect to find Victoria waiting at my apartment that evening, but there she was. Mascara streaked down her face, designer outfit wrinkled, looking nothing like the polished socialite who'd mocked me just yesterday. You must be so happy, she spat as I approached my door. You've destroyed everything I built. You destroyed it yourself, Victoria, I replied calmly, though my heart was racing. The embezzlement, the affair. James knows, she cut me off, laughing hysterically. Your precious brother knows everything now. Happy. But you don't know the whole story, dear sister-in-law. Something in her tone made me pause. What are you talking about? Victoria's smile was cruel. Why do you think James never defended you? All those times I insulted you, belittled your career, he agreed with every word. You're lying, I said, but uncertainty crept into my voice. Am I? She pulled out her phone. Let me play you something interesting. A recording started playing. James's voice filled the air. Of course I love Sarah, but Victoria is right. She's wasting her potential. It's embarrassing having to explain to people that my Stanford-educated sister teaches at some poor kid's school. Sometimes I wish she'd just. I couldn't listen anymore. Turn it off. He's been laughing behind your back for years, Victoria continued. We both have. The only difference is I was honest about it. My hands trembled as I unlocked my door. Leave, Victoria. Oh, I'm leaving, she said, standing up. But first, you should know, James wasn't just aware of the embezzlement. He helped me do it. The world seemed to tilt on its axis. What? Those company funds. Half of them went to his secret trading account. He's as guilty as I am. And now, thanks to you, it's all coming out. Her smile was venomous. Congratulations, Sarah. You haven't just ruined my life, you've destroyed your brother's too. She turned to leave, then paused. By the way, I've already sent copies of all his involvement to the Reynolds Technologies legal team. They should be contacting law enforcement soon. Have fun explaining to your students why their beloved teacher's brother is in prison. After she left, I sat in my dark apartment, her words echoing in my head. My phone lit up with a call from James. I let it go to voicemail. Then another call came, Mr. Reynolds. Sarah, he said when I answered, his voice grave. We've received some concerning documents about James's involvement in Victoria's scheme. I wanted you to hear it from me first. I closed my eyes. Is it true? The evidence is substantial. I'm sorry, but we'll have to pursue legal action against both of them. I thought about my students, about Alex Reynolds, about all the kids who trusted me to guide them toward a better future. Mr. Reynolds, I said finally, about your offer. Yes. I want to accept. But I need to know, will my brother's actions affect the Foundation's work? There was a pause. Sarah, your brother's choices are his own. Just like Victoria's. What matters is what you choose to do now. I looked at the family photo on my wall. James and me as kids, smiling, innocent. With a steady hand, I took it down. When do I start? The next few weeks were a blur. James and Victoria were both arrested. The story made local headlines. Tech executive and husband charged in $1 million embezzlement scheme. I threw myself into building the Education Foundation. Mr. Reynolds was true to his word. We started implementing programs in struggling schools across the city. Every time I saw a student's face light up with understanding, every time I helped a teacher get resources they desperately needed, I knew I'd made the right choice. 6 months later, I sat in the courthouse for James's sentencing. He turned to look at me, his face gaunt. Sarah, he started. I'm so. Save it? I cut him off. You had years to be honest with me. Focus on being honest with yourself now. As I walked out of the courthouse, my phone buzzed with a message from one of my former students. Miss Anderson, guess what? I got accepted to Stanford. Just like you. I smiled, tears in my eyes. Victoria had been wrong about everything. Success isn't measured in dollars or status. It's measured in lives changed and potential realized, in truth spoken even when it hurts. The foundation is thriving now. We've expanded to 50 schools with plans for more. Sometimes I drive past James and Victoria's old mansion. It's been sold to pay restitution. I don't feel satisfaction, just a quiet certainty that justice has a way of finding everyone eventually. Last week, I ran into Victoria's mother at a cafe. She started to turn away, but I called out to her. Mrs. Carter, I said, I'm sorry about how things turned out. She paused, then spoke softly. Victoria called from prison. She said you were right all along. About everything. I nodded and let her go. Some victories don't need to be celebrated, they just need to be acknowledged. As for me, I still teach one AP physics class. It keeps me grounded, reminds me why we're doing all this. On my desk sits a photo of my latest class, all smiling, all full of potential. Next to it is my old nameplate, Miss Anderson, physics teacher. Below it sits my new one, Sarah Anderson, Executive Director, Reynolds Education Foundation. Turns out you don't have to choose between doing good and doing well. Sometimes, if you stay true to yourself, you can do both. The key necklace Mr. Reynolds gave me at the foundation launch catches the light. Its inscription reads, "Education changes everything." I touch it and smile. Victoria and James chose greed over integrity. They thought they were building something, but it was all a house of cards. I chose to build something real, something lasting. And that has made all the difference.